Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Skyrim 1080. This is session 4, more than likely episode 9, if I remember correctly. And thank you for joining us again on our adventures in Skyrim, 10 years after the defeat of Alduin the World Eater. We again have our travelers, adventurers, rabble who have joined the entered Skyrim. Most of them new to the area, one old hand at it, as it were, and I'd like them to introduce themselves. Just a quick brief history of who they are, just so you can get all caught up, because it's been a while since the last episode. And if we could let's start off in order of height. So we'll go with Mr. Ice Walker.
Thank you. This is Pat here, playing, my character is Luke Icewalker, a Nord cleric of some considerable height, as Colin referred to. He's a cleric of Kine, or Kinnerath. He usually says Kinnerath because, despite being a Nord, he was brought up in Cyrodiil. This is his first trip to Skyrim as 30-something cleric, and he and Bati decided to travel together when they were both inspired by various things to head to Skyrim, and there they met up with the rest of the party that will introduce themselves.
Okay, and next we have the young and nimble Jaquai.
Hey, Ray here. My character is Jaquai. He is a monk of the yet undisclosed order, except to and he is in Skyrim searching for his brother.
Thank you. And we're probably going to have to fight it out. Let's go. Let's go with the youngster Mouse.
Hello, this is Victor. I am playing an Imperial-born young man named Septimus Vulpin, whose nickname is Mouse. He actually was born in Cyrodiil, but raised in Skyrim. And at the age of 20 or so, went out on his own, and when he met up with this crew, he was just starting his career as a guide, rather mildly unsuccessful.
Thank you very much. And last but by no means least, the little firecracker herself, Botty.
And watch what you say. We've a sassy little bard on our hands, obsessed with finding the myths and legends of the Dragonborn. So that has pulled her to Skyrim, along with she found passage over the border with a priest. Thought that sounded nice and safe. And so now we're banding about with a nice group of people, and she's trying to pick up all of the tidbits you can about her favorite Nordic hero. Or not necessarily Nordic, the Skyrim hero, the Dragonborn.
Excellent. And welcome, everyone. Last we left off, the adventurers, the newly formed group of vagabonds, had entered into Falkreath and were checking around town and passing on, finding out information and sort of letting them know what had happened up on the road as they entered into Skyrim. While they were there, they met the steward of Falkreath, Nenya, who seemed to be a very personable high elf, and she found a use for them for trying to help the area and asked them to help her out with a couple of situations that have recently come up. And she first pointed them in the direction of a man by the name of True Brand Littlefoot, if I remember correctly. And he said that he was a foreman of a mine, a recently started mine, up on the outskirts of Falkreath, which had been overrun by spiders, and was offering 50 gold to anybody who could clear it out so they could get back to the work. And upon a brief discussion between the four, they decided to take the job and had some sleep that night and headed out early the next morning and headed to the cave where they very efficiently dealt with the spider problem, only to find they had another problem of the Nordic ruin variety, and had their first encounter with the Draugr of Skyrim, the bane of ruins everywhere all across the land. They fought, they clawed their way through to the other side, and found a chest with a not too little amount of gold and some books that, much to the delight of Luke, the Seeker of Knowledge, they decided after their long fight they were going to rest up in the miners' camping area at the top of the mine, and they've had a nice full night's sleep, and they wake up refreshed and ready to move out. So, what would you like to do?
That was a good evening. Nice and safe. Didn't have to stand guard. So, are we going to head back to Falkreath and get our pay?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Luke?
Let's head out.
All right. Awesome. It's about a day and a half's walk, if I remember correctly.
No, it was about half a day.
Half a day? Okay. All right.
It was just on the top of the hill there, so it's probably about a half a day's walk back. There isn't much on the roads. You come outside, and true to form for Falkreath, it is raining. A light drizzle. It's not too harsh, and it's not causing you too much of a problems or interference, but it's definitely synonymous with Falkreath and the area that it seems to be always raining, cloudy, and misty. So you come outside, and the skies are kind of greyed over, and you can barely make out the position of the sun coming through the grey skies. You pull up your hoods and your cloaks, and you make the slow trudge back to Falkreath, which, as I said, about half a day's walk. Probably takes you around about 4 or 5 hours. So if you left at around about 9 a.m., you're probably coming up to around about 1 or 2 in the afternoon as you finally reach the outskirts of Falkreath, and you see the guards outside the guard tower and the gate leading into Falkreath Hold.
Well, Mouse is going to hang back a little bit because he doesn't really want to interact with Nenya too much. But he's going to stand behind Luke.
She's rather approachable for a high elf, I find.
Nevertheless.
So you guys enter in the city, so where would you like to go? You come in, and it's still raining. It's not too harsh. That's forming sort of like, river streams through the center of town, but there's quite a few puddles around, and there is rain dripping down, water dripping down the thatched roof of the inn roofs all across, and especially over at the forge, you can see the steam coming off as the heat and the cold air is mixing together over at the forge. So where would you like to go first? What would you like to do?
Maybe let's get the more formal business out of the way and see and see Nenya, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Was she in?
Right.
She was at
There's
Dead
a
Man's
big
Drink,
fire in the
wasn't she?
longhouse.
Sorry, what was that, Jaquai?
There's a big fire in the longhouse, and I need to dry my fur.
Oh, wet
Do a
cat.
little
Oh,
grooming. Yeah.
Hey, it's not as bad as wet dog.
That's true.
So let's see. So it's midday, right, or early afternoon. So would she be at the Longhouse at this point? He would think.
I don't know. She met us at Dead Man's Drink, did she not? She came. She specifically said to meet her there. I wonder if she might be there waiting for us. I don't know. Should we check there first and then?
It's on the way.
Yeah.
We might not get Bati out once she goes in, but we'll chance it.
I'll stay with her if that's the case.
Okay. Well, Dead Man's Drink it is.
See,
I'm sure you want that.
you veer off to the left and head up the stairs, opening the door and head in. It's a little bit quiet. There's only a couple of people in there. You've got the miners seem to be all congregated in a room, the room that they're sleeping in, and they seem to be all in there. Not playing the game. They just seem to be sort of like relaxing and doing nothing. You have Volga still behind the counter there, and you have Nari, who's just sweeping the floor. You look around. There's no sign of Nenya, and there's other than that, so
Well, that's disappointing.
Volga sort of like invites you. Come down, sit down by the fire, get yourselves dried out. Do you want anything to eat? You look pretty cold.
Yeah, I'd like something to eat. How about the rest of you guys? I wouldn't mind a flagon of ale myself.
Mead for me. Mead and a
Okay.
meal.
Meat and a meal. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, an ale and some farm bread would be wonderful. Maybe a little bit of Vidar cheese.
So for all four of you, is it all food and booze?
Yeah, I'll do some food too.
I'll have some food, but I'll forego the alcohol.
Oh.
I'll have his.
I think we're used to that.
Excellent.
So while she's rustling up the order, you said the miners were congregated in the room they're renting. Is that right?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the counter where Volga is, they're in the room to the right, which has got double big sort of like bunk beds up to the left-hand side, and then some small tables and chairs to the right as you walk into the room.
Is the door to their room is open?
Yeah, it's open.
All right, I'll walk over, stick my head in, and say, better get a good night's rest, boys. It's back to work tomorrow.
And half of them go, hey, and they'll go, "Arr." They'll go, "Arr." And he goes, you're back already? Really? That's all it took? I should have done it ourselves for fucking 50 gold.
Oh, well, yeah, but were you ready for the Draugr in the back room?
Do what now? Sorry, what? And then you see Volga come over. Did you say Draugr?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
tell me,
storytelling's thirsty work. Let's sit down.
Right, yes, definitely. And she sort of like runs over and starts getting the food as quickly as she possibly can. She goes, "Don't start without me." Putting all the food together and bringing it over the table, and a couple of the miners come out. You don't see.
Come on, boys! First round's out of my share of the wages.
Nice.
You see Truebrand. You do not see Truebrand Littlefoot. He's not in there with them. It's just all the regular miners. And a couple of them come out. A couple of them, the rest of them stay with her, but a couple of do come out into the main part. They don't sit down or anything like that. But Volga gets all your meat, brings it over to the table, the one closest to the fire, and sets it all out. She sort of like, leans back, sort of like expectantly. If you any stories or any rumors, you tell me. Anything you want to know, you ask me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Buddy, have you set our little adventures to music yet?
We've got some ideas pumping around. Just nothing quite solidified as of yet.
In other words, not enough to drink yet. Got it.
Right. So I'll leave. She says, "Hold your hands up." Right. I'll leave you to drink and get ready and prepare. And as I said, don't start without me. And
Writing songs is thirsty woman.
She goes back and gets a couple of bottles and makes sure there's a couple of spares there of ale and mead for over to take. And a couple of the miners take them off, sort of like they're sitting around.
I've always heard of a special brand called the Blackbriar. You wouldn't by chance have a bottle of that lying around, would you?
Let me go check. It is rather expensive, though. It's a silver piece on its own.
It's highly recommended, buddy. Highly recommended. Although I prefer the hunting brew myself.
The song is going to be a very good song as well.
Well, I'll go see if I have one first. You think of your song, and then we'll see what's going to happen at the end. So she goes off and has a hunt around to see if she can find some Blackbriar mead for you.
I can see her back behind the bar blowing the dust off the bottles. See it there.
Then opening them and sniffing them.
Yeah, she's opening
off.
Yeah, she's opening up barrels and having a look and stuff like in the meat barrels. And
she is Orknar's cousin after all. Yeah.
So, you sit down there. You have food. You warm up by the fire and things like that. She finally comes out with a couple of bottles of Blackbriar mead. Hands one to Botty and puts the other one on the table for whoever wants to do it. So, come on, tell me what happened. What happened?
Well, we fought a bunch of spiders. That wasn't too terribly bad. But then we found a cavern behind the spider's cave and deeper into the mine, and that's where things started to go a little haywire.
Really? How big was it? Like it was like mansion size? Or...
It was huge. It was the biggest cavern you've ever seen. There must have been 100 Draugr in there, right, guys?
Well, did you count the spiders? I lost count of the spiders.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course. And there were little ones and big ones, and there was one giant one. Yeah, it was intense.
Mouse, roll a deception check.
Yes. Sorry, 9.
Aha. She goes, don't give me that bullshit. Go on. Tell me what happened. Go on. You really did like a proper ruin, an old Nord ruin.
I'm sorry, man. We're just happy to be alive, and we're just having a little fun with you. Luke, tell her what happened.
So yeah, there were spiders. There was one pretty big spider.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like the size of a horse, kind of size spider.
Really?
Yeah, it was big. Oh yeah, it was a big one. We got in there, 2 little spiders, and I look at the miners and say, I thought these guys were just a bunch of big wimps. But then I saw this big spider, and I said, well, I can see why they needed some help. We get the spiders, not too bad. Then we realized there's more back here. Did you guys know that there was another room back there behind your mine? Did you know that?
No, we never went into that part of the fucking thing. We saw the spiders, and that's it. We fucking ran.
Yeah. So we got past the spider webs, and we started poking around back there. Little mouse. Fortunately, he's light on his feet. He only stepped on a couple of the Draugr before they woke up and started swarming us. So, at this point, I grabbed the bottle of the good mead and really get into the story here. We get back there, and it was the most amazing Nordic ruins with the runes and a glowing forge that seemed to be magically renewed. It was still hot after, how many thousands of years. And then at this point, I get drinking my bag, and then I really get excited because I have a book now. I said, look what we found. We found these books. And I start showing them the books and pages, and I start translating. Of course, they really get bored and lose it here.
The mouse is already asleep.
Yeah, the one of the miners, he says like that, and he sort of like leans over, and he sort of like he's relaying some of the stuff, and then one of the other miners comes out from the back of the room, and he leaves the inn and heads out after the other guy passes out. Roll a perception check. I'll say more than likely, seeing as you were doing the talking, you two were doing the talking, I will have Jaquai roll a perception check.
Okay, so is that wisdom?
Yes.
Okay, so 18.
Yeah, so you heard that one of the miners lean over and sort of like staying into the room. He goes, they found something in there. Know that Rubens, you better tell Littlefoot, or else, I don't know what's going on, but you better tell him. So that's when you see the other guy go up and leave and walk out the inn. So he said he's heading off to tell Mr. Littlefoot about you finding ruins in the back of the mine.
I lean over to Jaquai very, very quietly, say, do you think I should follow him?
So if he's going to go tell his boss about the ruins, it probably would be better if it came from us than if it came from him.
Okay. So I quietly get up and leave. Follow the miner.
So you guys are in there sitting. Luke is continuing to relay his story. And Butty, what are you doing? Are you sort of like planning out your song, drinking and eating, and thinking about what you're going to do? Put your latest adventure into a song of your own. So a song that or a tale that involves you and yourself instead of other people this time.
We're looking at the bottom of a second horn of juice here. Shuffling some papers around. Still sort of reflecting of the events. And there's a miner keeps coming in and bothering me. I'm trying to write a song.
All right, so Mouse, can you roll a stealth check for me? Since you're going to be following this guy on the quiet, I assume.
Yeah, 13.
13. So he's a commoner, so he's got like a...
I'm not going to like hide behind corners, but I'm just going to quietly follow him at a distance until he gets where he goes.
Sure. Yeah, so you head out just a couple of minutes after him, and as you come outside, you look across, and he's headed off over into the Jarl's longhouse. He's just walking up to the front of where the guards are, and he's going to head inside.
Well, Mouse doesn't like that a whole lot, but he's committed now, so he's going to saunter across the town past the goat there and nod to the guards. Wait a few seconds.
You hear just like ting, ting, ting as you stroll past the forge, and
yes,
as you're heading up, and you head into the room, and you got the two guards standing outside, and sort of like they recognize you, and one of them just gives you a nod as you head towards the door.
I nod back, raise an eyebrow, smile, and walk in quietly.
So you stroll in, and you come in, and you don't see the miner. There's you look ahead, and you see the big open fire roaring with all the wooden chunks and bits of it sparking and clicking. And as you look at the back of the room, again, there's no Jarl there, and there's no house call. You do hear talking. You hear the sound of somebody realize, oh, they're back. They're over at the inn. they said something about Nordic ruins and sort of like, dead things walking around and killing like 1,000 spiders. And he goes like, so you got to come back. They're already back. It's amazing. And what would you like to do?
I'd like to just sort of hang back a little bit, just to the outside of the door, without looking like I'm eavesdropping too much. Perhaps just looking for Nenya, but I'd like to hear what Mr. Littlefoot says before I either walk in or decide to.
Seconds later, the two of them start walking out, followed by Nenya. So I walk towards her, and he the miner that you follow just stops. He goes, there he is. And he goes, yeah, I was coming to get him. And he goes, Nenya, there he is. They're back. And he goes, tell him about the Droga, the ruins.
Okay, well, I will relate similar to what Luke did, that we killed 2 small spiders and 1 very large one, and then explored.
As soon as you start, and the druid just goes, I gotta have a beer and me for this. Come on, and he sort of like pushes you towards the door.
Excellent. I clap him on the back and say, "Let's go." All right.
So he follows you out, pushes you out through the door, and he goes, "Oh my god!" He goes, "Really?" And she follows out behind you all.
Excellent.
And they all head back towards the inn.
All right.
So you head into the inn, and Butty is still eating. Jaquai is eating, and sort of like.
Mouse is actually going to hang back just outside the door to the inn for a moment or two, but go ahead.
Yeah. So they Truban's straight through the door, walking in, and he's going, "Ale, give me an ale." And he goes, and he walks over and he right to the table where you're sitting at, Luke, and he plonks himself right down, looking you dead in the face. Right, tell me what happened. And again, you start to tell, and you with sort of like a little bit more details, and start telling him, and he's wide-eyed, and he goes, "That is absolutely amazing." And he goes, "You didn't happen to see any ore when you were down there, did you?"
I didn't look for ore. Did you look for ore?
I did not look for ore.
Yes. Well, at least I'm getting paid anyway for just the digging. Goes, we better find some more soon, or they're going to be giving us a. He takes it as a big squeak, and he goes, "But good on you." And he goes, "Well done, boys." And he goes, "You earned your gold." And Nenya is behind them. She goes, "Oh, you certainly did." And she goes, realizing that she's left all the money back at the longhouse. And she said, "Okay, when you're done here, just come back and see me over there." Amazing tale, amazing. I'm sure everybody will love it. When you're done here, meet me over in the longhouse when you're done. And then she just sort of like backs away and sort of like gives you a wave, and then heads out and heads all the way to the back. What would you like to do?
Well, meanwhile, Mouse has just quietly walked back through the gate, nods at the guard, smiles, and then disappears into the forest. But he's back in about 5 minutes, and he walks into the inn to join the rest of them.
No worries.
So Mouse comes back in
About 5-10 minutes.
5 minutes after the guy he was following.
Something about 10 minutes after. Yeah.
10 minutes after. Okay. All right. Noted.
Mouse, you look about a pound lighter.
I look at Jaquai and just put my finger quietly to the side of my nose.
So, Mouse, Nenya didn't have the money with her, and so she's going back to the longhouse. I think you and I should go back there and meet with her and get that settled out.
That suits me fine. Let's do it.
I'll stay here and keep an eye on Body and the miners.
Particularly Body, please.
Yes, in that order.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jaquai and Mouse, you guys get up and sort of like head over to back out into the rain and head off back towards the longhouse, while Luke and Bocce sort of like sit around and relax in front of the fire. So you head over to the longhouse again, and same two guards nods to the two of you, and it goes, "What have I heard? You killed some dead things." It goes, kind of redundant, isn't it?
Yeah, I say it's the same thing twice too.
Yeah. Tell that to the scar on the back of my head.
That's right. Yeah.
So you head
They smell
inside.
pretty bad too.
So you head inside.
Okay, so we're going to look for Nenya. Is she in the long room? Is the Jarl there now, or is?
No, she's in there. You hear some rustling upstairs, like one of the steps to the left. So you step inside, and what do? You're inside. You hear some rustling upstairs, but you don't see anybody. There's nobody in the room.
Well, I would quietly just say, "Ma'am, are you up there?"
Oh, you're here? Yes. Just give me a minute. I'm just putting together a little something. I'll be down in just 1 second, and you hear some ruffling of some papers, and then she heads downstairs, and she's got a little leather purse with her, and she goes, "I think you will find everything." Oh, is the rest of you not here?
They stayed back at the end to talk with the miners some more.
Okay. I was hoping there was that little second thing I wanted to discuss with you. I actually wanted to meet you yesterday about it as well before you head off, but you kind of got the jump of me and already left town. I was a little worried. I know you said that you were going to take care of the job as quickly as possible, but I wasn't expecting that quick. But there wasn't the other issue that I wanted to talk to you about as well, and I was wondering if I could talk to you all together because it's a bit of a serious note. But here anyway, and she hands over the leather pouch to you, Mouse. It's weighted full of gold.
Thank you, ma'am. We will share this. Can you just give me just remind me a little bit? Have you told us what this other issue was?
No,
with
she
all that
hasn't.
fighting, I can't remember. I've slept since then. No. Okay.
No, she didn't tell you what the job was, but she was talking. You were not in the room, but Jaquai, you were in the room when she was discussing this other job with you, Luke, and Botty. And you do remember she was talking about another job that she was hoping to talk to you about in finer details, but she didn't give anything any specifics.
Well, ma'am, would you prefer to talk about it here in the quiet of the Jarl's house, or would...
Yes. Yes, if you don't mind, would you be able to, and she's talking to you, Matt, she said, would you mind, if they're not to be, I mean, if you want to spend the rest of the day, I know I don't know exactly what happened, whether it was all finished yesterday and you had a nice rest, or you need to rest up for the rest of the day, but if you wouldn't mind getting the other two, if you're okay to discuss it today.
I think we better do that before Body has too many of those Blackbriar meads.
Yeah, agreed. I'll go get the two of them.
All right, I'll stay.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, there was something I wanted to talk to you about. It was Jaquai, wasn't it?
Yes.
I was wondering if there's something I could discuss with you. She's kind of looking at you, Mouse, saying, "Go away."
And Mouse gives her a very understanding look, looks at Jaquai, raises his eyebrows, and walks out back to Dead Man's Drink.
Thank you. See you in a bit.
So, what does this one need?
Well, thank you very much. It was just, I was wondering if we could possibly help each other out. I was over in Dead Man's Drink, and I heard from Valga that you were asking about other country travelers and traders that might be in the area, and I was wondering, are you at all affiliated with the traders with the Khajiit trading post up in Dragon Bridge?
No, I am a monk, but I am seeking the caravan traders and any Khajiit that I can talk to about the mission I'm in Skyrim for.
But well, maybe we could help each other out. There's a little situation with us. I know you seem to have your own agenda with the other Khajiit. I'm not affiliated, but a friendly face never hurts. I was wondering if, and she goes upstairs for a second and gets these papers, and she has this letter with her. And have you got your messenger open, Ray? Your sort of like phone with your messenger on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to just send this to the group. And so I might be a bit presumptuous of me, but I had written this up, and I was hoping you could have a look at it. And if you're in agreement, possibly if you do get around to meeting up with the Khajiit Trading Guild, would you pass this along for me?
I can certainly pass the information on to the Khajiit traders. I'll take a look at it as I go, and see if it looks like something that would be reasonable to ask.
That is amazing. I'm sure you'll find it'll be something mutually beneficial to both of us. It's just a slight, if you can have a read of it there, but I need to put my seal on it. So if all the contents of that are okay with you, I'll put my seal on it and give it to you now. Would that be okay?
Give me a moment here.
Okay, so while you're reading that, Mouse, you're heading off to over to Dead Man's Drink to collect the other two.
Yes, I'm walking across the towards Dead Man's Drink, and I hear to my left the smith grumbling something about a dog, but I ignore him and keep going.
Yeah, actually, what you do here is shut up, dog.
And I keep going, and I walk quietly into the inn and walk quietly over to Luke and say, how's Body doing? Nenya would like to speak to all of us at once in the Earl's house.
Oh dear. And I reach around Body's shoulder and grab from her hand the bottle of mead that she's about to drink, and say, come on, Body, we have work to do.
Will this keep?
I firmly but gently nudge her away from the table.
Can I put a cork in this?
A pour a cork in what? I said.
Yes, you may put a cork in the bottle for later.
You can take a D6 inspiration die for that one, Mouse.
Let's see. I got a 6. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I'll make sure we pay the tab before we stumble out, and hopefully we're not too day drunk to speak to the steward.
Yeah. So you finish up. You probably, with that food, probably getting close to a gold. Probably about 8 or 9 gold and 8 or 9 silver, with the getting a couple of drinks for the miners, the food for 4 people, and the Blackbriar mead as well.
Well, I think I will give Volga 1 gold piece because she's been so nice and helpful, and that should cover our expenses, and perhaps if you have any more information for us, you can pass it on.
I did have a little thing. She goes, yeah. She goes and sort of like, she pulls you closer and sort of like leans into you. She says, she goes, there. I have heard that there's been a bit of a crime wave, or a bit of a crime problem in East March Hold. Seems that they've had a lot of thieving and a lot of banditry in and around the city and all across the Hold. I wonder what's going on over there.
I nod and look suitably disturbed. Well, can you do you know anything more? Is there any rumor of who or where it's coming from, or is it just a general, just
no? He didn't. He didn't say. He was just passing through. And he goes, but he did say that word has it the companions got it into a group of vampire hunters or something. What kind of fools would challenge the companions?
I couldn't possibly imagine.
Other than that, I really haven't heard anything.
Well, thank you, ma'am. That's been quite informative. I really appreciate it. And your mead and your cheese are wonderful.
Awesome. And then suddenly she looks over to the door. She goes, Ron, you're here! And she sort of like runs around the counter and sort of like runs up to a Nordman who's just entered in. He's quite a large Nordman. He's probably in his mid-40s, maybe early 50s. And you don't roll see a history check to see if you were paying enough attention when you've been in town to who this person is.
That's Mouse you're talking to?
Yeah.
Let's see. My history isn't excellent. So that would be an 18.
18.
Nice.
Yeah, you definitely know who this is. And this is Roland Skulnar. This used to be the former legate, or still legate Skulnar, former legate that was assigned here during the Civil War. While he was here, him and Volga grew closer, and even though she always complained about wars and things, she ended up marrying a soldier. And it seems that he's just come back from whatever he was doing. And he's sort of like, he's just wearing normal clothes, but he does have a big pack on his back, and he has an imperial short sword in a holster, in his sheath on his side as he walks over, and he sort of like grabs hold of Valga and picks her up, sort of like gives her a big squeeze.
So a canon. So in this canon Skyrim 10 AD, who won the Civil War?
The Imperials.
All right.
So you guys head back to, or are you heading all out to go to the?
Yeah, I think we're heading back to the Longhouse.
Yeah.
I'll make sure Body walks an approximately straight line as we make our way there.
I wave to Valga and wink as we walk out the door.
Yeah, she's sort of like a wave. She's being kind of squeezed at the moment, and she just sort of like gives you a wave as she's kind of been squeezed at the moment. But
Yes.
yeah, she gives you a wave as you leave. So you head outside. As you head over to towards the thing, you have a look around, and sort of like Matthias is at the front, and he's sort of like hammering a bit of wood that seems to keep on coming loose from the side of his house. He sort of like, raises up the hammer and sort of like gives you a wave with it, and then carries on banging aimlessly just at the wood. No nail or anything like that. He's just banging at the wood, trying to knock it back into place. And you head back over towards the longhouse. So Jaquai, you've had a bit of a moment to have a read through of the letter. I was just wondering. I mean, do you have any problems with that? I can make some amendments to it if you don't mind. If you want, sorry.
No, this looks perfectly good. I will deliver this to Razad.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. So she takes it from you, and she sort of like, kind of like tippy toes runs up the stairs, and sort of like, as she goes up to roll it all up and put a wax seal on it, to make sure that she knows it's definitely come from him. She comes back up, and you have a look at the seal, and it's deep dark crimson, and you have the full crease stag emblem sort of like emblazoned inside the wax, and it has like a little insignia that denotes that she's the steward. It's not from the Jarl, it's from her, but this is so to know that it's definitely from her. By this time, the other three have made it to the longhouse. I just got me and entered.
All right, we're back.
What's going on?
He goes, "Oh, welcome. First of all, I would just like, on behalf of the Great Hold of Full Crease, I would thank you all so very much for dealing with that situation with the mine. It was so quick and very diligent of you to head off so early in the morning and take care of that. And any problems or anything that I need to be aware of, any dangers to the city or anything like that we..."
I don't know.
I'll show her the books. Milady, we found these books in the Nordic tomb. They don't appear to be anything other than funerary texts related to the entombed one. I can't resist showing off, the Nord history, blah 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 blah.
She has a quick look at them, and she goes, "Oh, well, you can't read them anyway, so."
Oh, I can. Would you like me to read them to you?
You can read those?
Yeah.
Extraordinary. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just I never knew adventurers were so well read.
I spent the last 12 years in a monastery with much time for reflection on my hands.
Huh. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to judge. But
that wasn't offensive.
No, that's
it's a mere statement of fact.
Well, other than that, so there was nothing that we need to be worried about as a city or anything like that. You dealt with the Droger and anything else that was the spiders. I'll have to. I'm trying to see if I can spare some men to go with Zarya, because she'll want to head up there to grab some stuff. Okay, no worries. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right. The other situation is that I wanted to speak to all you about was a little bit more delicate. Now, we would hope that this would be held within the strictest confidence. But we do have a situation here, and the town guard the town guard. I can't really risk them leaving the town, leaving the area. But if you wouldn't mind, if you'd be able to follow me to the barracks just around the corner. And she's sort of like, is that okay?
Of course.
Sure.
So she heads out through the front door, and she goes, Darla goes, "Oh, to find her with me." And then she heads off towards the barracks, and you pass over, and there on the right-hand side is the apothecary, the alchemist shop. As you walk past, and you head down along the wooden, I was going to say floorboards, but the wooden walkway and head over to the barracks and step in. As you step in, there's just one guard just sitting on the table, just next to where the steps lead down into the main jail area. And she goes, "Oh, good day." And she goes, "Don't worry, they're with me. But don't let anybody else in, yeah?" And then she heads downstairs. And as you head downstairs, you look around and follow her in to the left. And you see in the prison cell just ahead of you, you see two men. You see three men. Two of them are standing, and one of them is laying on a table inside one of the prison cells. And excuse me, sorry about that. You walk in, she goes, this gentleman was in the town a little while ago. And it appears that we may have come across he's known to us as a known bandit, a general, not a nice man, but I don't think, even if he's not the nicest man, he would deserve this. And all four of you approach the cell, and the two men who are sort of like kind of standing in this front of the table. One of them is a very, very tall, grey-haired, in robes, high elf, and he sort of like steps to the right. And the other is a shorter human man, a Nord, in wearing heavy armor, so just normal iron plate armor, and he steps to left, and you see a man just lying on the table, and he's and he's just dressed up in prisoner's scrapped wastrel clothes, and his eyes are sunken, his skin is all clammy and wet, and you can see on his neck, creeping up, is this black and green veins popping through, and he's just and we think we will leave it there for this episode. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for episode 9, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you for downloading this edition of Skyrim 10 AD. Email the show at skyrim10ad@gmail.com. For more information, please visit asapodcasting.com, where you will find a Skyrim Addict podcast, the Fallout feed, and our Amazon link, which benefits the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Find our social media in the show notes. Thanks for listening.